Yeah, so I have a few resources I'm going to share with you guys. And number one, we are going to deploy the Lightning node on a cloud service. There are very few options that you could take. You could take. One, you could use hardware. One of the things that I had to choose was hardware, whereby you need a Raspberry Pi. Maybe you have a Minode machine, then you deploy the node, then you manage it locally. The second thing that you could use is deploy it on your local machine, like on your local computer, whereby you will have to keep track of the amount of space that you have. So you need to have a good number of SSD storage for you to use the local machine. With hardware, you will have to buy extra hardware to set up. There are benefits to that. You have everything in your hands. You manage your node. You manage the uptime. You manage its downtime. Everything is with you, but it comes at a cost. You need to make sure that your service is 24/7 on. You will have to reboot it sometimes, which is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to have something up and running. I could SSH into it remotely, and I could be sure that it's going to be live 24/7. This is why I went for the cloud infrastructure. For the cloud, you have a number of options. You could use DigitalOcean, which is very good. You can use Amazon, which is AWS. You could use any other. But I didn't go for that because Lightning node could be a little bit expensive, especially with these cloud servers. You need to be very cautious of what you're choosing, so that you don't get billed in a very, very, very unfair way. So I went with Luna node. I think it's very cheap for what I wanted. It's very cheap. I pay around like $7 a month. So I think it's very cheap and very economical for what I was looking for. So it's what we are going to deploy today. Uh, Everything that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to follow up with the Lightning docs. I think it's a very, very good documentation to start with. And most of the stuff that I'm going to demonstrate are just extracted from what the documentation is showing. So it has got better. It wasn't the best documentation out there, but I think they've done a very good job to polish it up. And I think anybody can just wake up in the morning and follow the documentations to do what I'm going to do. So it's the same thing. I only that I extracted out the most relevant information that I need, especially the code lines, and I put them into this Notion template, and I'll share it with you. So just to make this process smooth and flow very fast. So head over to LunaNode. Head over to LunaNode, create an account, and when you create an account, you can go to create virtual machine, and when you go to create virtual machine, you'll get displayed by this page. So guys, keep in touch, keep on tabs that they will only allow you to create this virtual machine by when you first put some credit in. So you put some credit. I think I put around $10 for me to experiment with the service, so it's cheap money. So head over to LunaNode, create an account, put some credit in. I think $7 to $8 is enough. Put that in, and then try to follow up with what you're doing. So when you go to create on credit virtual machine, you can give it a name. I'll give mine test node, and you will choose a plan. So the higher you go, the better, the stronger, the more resilient your VM is going to be, but then the more money you're going to pay. For this purpose, I'll go with the M2. I think it's very perfect for what we want. We do not want it to be very expensive, and we do not want to be very cheap and limited. So yeah, there is a very good spot between M1 and M3, M4, which is M2, and it's just $7. So select that and go ahead and select the operating system. So we'll go with Ubuntu. I like to go with Ubuntu 18. I find that from the jump from Ubuntu 18 to 20 had some few changes that I'm not very resilient with, so I'll recommend to go with 18, and you go ahead and create the virtual machine. So I've already created one and it's here. So this is what you're going to get when you create the machine. So you need to keep in touch, keep the tabs of what is happening. So this machine is your online computer. I think of it that way. And sometimes you'll have to log into that online computer and install some software. So we would want to use our local terminal. So we want to install all the software using our local terminal. And I'm using Mac. For Windows users, I would recommend you to install Windows. It's called WSL. So use that one. I think it's easy. Or you can download Putty. I think it's called Putty, so that you can follow along with the same commands. So Linux and Mac, I think everything is clear. So let's go back here. So we need to set up some SSH keys. What SSH keys are is it's a string of characters or a huge passcode that you keep on your computer locally, and also you give to LunarNode, so that when you try to log in, LunarNode can compare what they have with what you have, and then they will verify if you're the one trying to SSH into your virtual machine. So it's what we are going to try to generate today. So when you go to check our quick start guide, they show you how you can do that. So you go ahead and copy this command, which is creating a directory which I already have, and then go ahead and copy this, which creates a new SSH key there, and then I think this one generates it there. And when you generate it there, you click enter. Do I want to override? No, I want to keep what I already have. And so I think that one creates what the key for you. Just keep yes, just click yes, because I clicked no because I didn't want to override the already keys that I had. So I just wanted to keep it flowing. So when you get that, you can go ahead and navigate into that file. So mine is in users.ssh, and then so you can copy your text, open your text editor here, and then you'll be able to copy the code that the one that you can see there. So when you copy that, you will come back here and you paste it here, you give it a name, and you add it there, which I'm not going to do because I have already done that, and I'm going to try to use what I have already created. So we'll go back to our node, and when you go back to our node, we are going to try to SSH into that node right now. So let's clear that. So the way you can log into your node or SSH into that, you go, they've given you a username and they've given you a password. So you write SSH, you use the username, which is Ubuntu, @ symbol, and you write the external IP address, which is that. So I'm trying to, so it will ask you if you want to continue. It's matching the keys of what you have and what you've just installed. So I'll write yes, and it's added my node's IP address, so it's asking for my password. Copy that and paste that there. So now the moment you see this green prompt, it shows that we are already in. Okay, so we've already logged into our node, and now we can go ahead and start installing the software that we want. Okay, So the first thing that you are recommended to do is to first upgrade all the software that is there. So you use the symbol update, and then upgrade. So these are it's like cleaning up everything that is there and updating all the default stuff that has already been, that all the default operating system stuff that was found there, to upgrade it to the latest one, so that when we start installing our software, everything is going to function as we want. Okay, so now Lightning Network is a service that was built on Golang. So when you clone, because you're going to clone the repo and install all the software in the Lightning code, so we need to have Golang installed in our VM. So we are going to use Golang we are going to install it from source. So when you go to Golang, okay, I think I have Golang install. When you go there, you go to all releases. So we want to install it from the source, so we're going to use this. I think we'll use one of these. So it's the ARM chip, so we're going to use that. I already have the code here. So this one we are using version 1.213. Copy that, and you're going to use wget to install Golang, and that was installed properly. Let me look at that. So you can see the zip file is already there. So we need to extract it. So we use the tar command and the name of the file, which is go that. So we'll go and extract that. That has done the job, I think so. So now, okay, I don't know if it has extracted it properly, but I think it will go with that. So the next thing that we need to be able to do is we need to add Golang to path, because right now when you check the Golang version, it's not there. It does not show it because it has not been added to the path. It's not available through the whole environment of the VM. So we need to tell the VM where Golang has been installed in the computer. So the way you can do that is you use a batch script, and you're going to run this code. So what nano does, it goes to the root directory and create the bash rc script where we are going to add the path. So we already have, actually if we're not creating it, it's already there. We're just going to add Golang to it. So go to the extreme end, and when you go to the extreme end, copy these lines, paste them there. So here we are telling it where the path of Golang is, where the binary is, the path, and the export path. So when you go and create, so the way you can save that, you go and create Control O, press enter, press Control X, and everything is there. So let's try to see that if it has saved. Let me go to the extreme end, guys. I'm not a very good system admins. I'm just a guy following the documentation, so bear with me. So you can see the lines are there, which means our Golang has been added to the path. Beautiful. So the next thing is to apply the changes. You find that some computers, by doing that is enough. Others you'll have to add it to source. So I'll try to do that the old way. I'll try to add it to source and see if it works. So I think that is that. So if I go and press go version, and you can see Golang has been installed. Okay, now Golang has been installed. So when you run go version and you get the output, it's a good sign. I think now we can go ahead. So the next thing that you will need to do is to build the essentials. So I think this builds all the essentials binaries from Go, if I'm assuming, because I do not know what that line does, but it's important to run it. So I think it unpacks everything that we need to have, and we go ahead and wait for that to finish. If it helps me to do that. Okay. As that does, like I said, remember that Lightning Network is built by LND, and this is where we are going to get the code from. So LND is the main daemon. I think it's called the daemon from Lightning. It's what we are going to use to install. And when you go to their repo, you go to the releases, and when you go to the releases, they show you what they are working on. So we're going to go to one of the most stable releases, and we are going to install this one. So I think it's what we are going to do. If come back and this has finished, beautiful. Something is wrong with the command line. Come on. Oh god. Okay. Okay, so we have finished installing that. The build has already been done. You can see our Go is still there. So the next thing that we need to do is to head over to the GitHub of LND and clone the Lightning, the code for Lightning Network. So when you go there, you head over to the release. So we need to roll back to the stable release, the latest stable reach release. So we don't want to go for the pre-release, but we would like to go to something like this. So this is what you're going to clone, which I think it's V0170. I don't know if that's what I have. So the thing you have to do is we need to clone that. Head over to clone. Beautiful. So clone that. We see we have LND there. So we navigate into that folder, and you can see the whole code is there. Okay, what next? So like we said, we need to check out to the most recent, the most stable branch. So use the git checkout. So go git checkout. We are going to go for version 0170. Okay, so version 017.0 beta. I think that's it, and you can see we are at that. Beautiful. Okay, so what next? So now we can use Golang's make command to install all the required information. So we write make install, and now everything is getting installed. So if you look at what is getting installed, you see we have Bitcoin D, we have some wallet services, we have some Tor stuff. So a lot of stuff is getting installed from the Lightning Network code base. So like you said, it's being installed using Golang, and everything is flowing as we want. Okay, it took some time. It took some time because I did not have the best internet, but I think around like 3 to 2 minutes to install everything. So if you have better internet, I presume yours will be a little bit faster than mine. Okay, so what is the next thing? We need to configure Lightning Network to know where it's going to run from. It needs to understand what network is going to run from. It needs to understand whether it's going to get the fee estimates. There's a number of factors that it has to think about when running it. So everything that comes from that is going to be configured into a new config file whereby it's going to look at. So that config file is the lnd.conf. So go ahead. So we're going to first create it in the make directory, but I think it's a good idea to install it at the parent. So head over to the parent and run the make directory command there, and then inside that command you're going to create an lnd.conf file that is going to have everything that Lightning is going to look at. So inside that file, we are going to copy these 3 small lines. So one thing, we're going to run this Lightning node in Neutrino. So we are not running a full Bitcoin D. It's going to use Neutrino. What your Neutrino node means is it's going to have only the Bitcoin with headers, without headers. I think it just synchronizes there. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's in Neutrino. I think it's faster to do it in Neutrino. If you're running it in Bitcoin D, you'll have to have the whole Bitcoin backend and it will have to sync, which will take some good time. But this one is very fast because it's in Neutrino. I think it's running something called Prune node. It's faster. It's faster if you do it this way. And then we are going to set it to testnet active. So we are running it on testnet. If you are running it on mainnet, you'll have something like bitcoin.mainnet is equal to 1, and then it will be running on mainnet. So for development purposes, we are running it on testnet. And then the fact that we are running it in Neutrino, it will have to find somewhere it gets the fee estimates. So this small estimates file, when you go to the browser and look at it, it's a small JSON file that has the fees and estimates per block. So this is what Neutrino is going to look at to get the current fee estimates for every Lightning node. So this is what we need. So to save that, remember we said you press Ctrl or enter Ctrl X to exit. Let's look at what we've saved. Yeah, everything is there. Beautiful. So the lnd.conf file has been set properly, and if anything comes up, we'll come back to that. Now, if everything works properly and we set up everything properly, we should be able to run our LND node right now. So the way you can run the LND node, you just write LND, press enter, and when you get that, just know that everything is working properly. So yeah, the setup is very nice. I think I'm happy with that, but I'm going to first close that. There's some things that I need you to understand. So for people that are trying to do it for the first time, you need to understand that most of these LND nodes will need to have a wallet. So what this wallet does is it allows you to get access to some of the most important commands that you can run on the Lightning node. So some things like creating invoices, opening channels, closing channels are all coming through the wallet. So if you look at all these logs, you can see that it's telling us that it's waiting for wallet encryption password. It's not seeing the wallet. It has to have a wallet. and it's telling you to use ln CLI to create a wallet and then to unlock a node to you. So it's important. So but then to do that, we'll have to have the node running. So there are two options. You can run LND in the terminal, and when you close the terminal, it's going to stop. So when you power down your computer, your VM is not going to be running, which is what we do not want. We want to be able to close the computer, have our LND running in the background, and continue to do stuff without worrying about coming up and shutting it on and shutting it off. So, and then after we do that, then we can go back and create the wallet and do all the stuff around it. So there's the easiest way we can do it is using the systemd admin to allow Ubuntu to run the processes in the background. So it's what we are going to try to set up now. So we are going to create a file called lnd-neutrino.service, which is a service file that Ubuntu looks for. So let me try to clear this. And when I create that, it's a systemd file. And yeah, Ubuntu is going to look at this to run the node in the background when we want it. So copy that. And we have some few stuff that we are going to insert. So here's a simple description. Ours is a Lightning network daemon running on testnet, which is okay. We have an execstart. Execstart is just finding where the LND bin binaries are. So they are in Ubuntu under Golang, and this one will run when it gets accessed. It's going to run the Bitcoin with these two flags, which is bitcoin.active on bitcoin.testnet. So this is what systemd is going to run. So this is just the user. So we're telling it that the user called Ubuntu is the one that has access to these files. So these are just standard stuff from systemd. So when you go and so the way you can save it, remember we say Control O, enter, Control X. Beautiful. Let's look at that. If it's saved and it's still there, which means it has saved properly. Okay, so our system and neutrino service has been set up properly. The next thing we need to do is to enable it. We need to tell Ubuntu about it. So copy that. So we use the enable command. So a sudo systemctl enable, and our file is lnd-neutrino.service. So we are enabling it. So when you create that and get that output, we've initiated that. And after enabling it, now we can start it. So we use the start command. So the same command, instead of enable, we run start. So when you click start, it's going to go through that lnd-service and it will run everything that we want, that we've set up. So by pressing enter, we presume that LND is going to start running. So when you press enter and you get nothing out, it's a good sign, and it's a good sign that LND has started running. And the way we can verify that is through a log file. So we can look at what it's logging in the background using this journal.ctl service. And when you press enter, you can see that yes, LND is running. Beautiful. Okay, now we need to create a wallet. Remember the command that was telling us to create a wallet. So we need to create that wallet. And let me go back and head over to that command if I can find it. I don't think I can find it, but okay. So we go and write ln-cli create. So you give your wallet a password. Use a better password that I am writing right now. So it's asking me to create a mnemonic. I don't have anything, so create for me nice. Press enter and it will generate a cipher. So what this cipher is what you're going to have to CS systemd into your wallet. It's going to manage your Lightning node password. So you need to keep this very safe. Don't be like me. Don't broadcast it on the internet. Of course, I'm going to delete this after, but let me keep that in Notepad. Please write it somewhere and keep it secure. Okay, so we've created the wallet. I don't know if LND is able to look at it right now. I don't know where my desktop tab has gone. If I can find it, I found it here. So let's try to look at the logs and see if it has seen our wallet. So let me look at that. I don't see it complaining about the wallet anymore, and I think that is a good sign. Beautiful. So right now what the LND node is doing, it's trying to synchronize. So it has to synchronize to the main blockchain, and it also has to synchronize to the graph, which is the Lightning. So we can look at that through our network status. So we can verify that. So there is this there is this command, which is the get info command. So when you create a wallet for your node, it creates some specific authentication files, like the admin macarons and the TLS certificate. So what this TLS certificate and the macaron are just super admin script and passwords that will allow you to run sensitive commands on your node. So the wallet does that for you. So I'm going to try to do that, but the only way you can run the super sensitive is by pointing LND to where your macaron has been saved. So it's what I'm going to do there. So I'm writing lncli and I'm telling it where my macaron path is, and the admin.macaron, and I'm going to write get info. So when you get that, you can see that the get info command is there. It's showing you our node. We didn't give it an alias, so it's having a random alias, but you can give it an alias name, which is configured in the Lightning node, in the lnd.conf file that we created earlier. The color is also configured there. But then look at that. It does not have any active channels. It does not have any peers, and it's still synchronizing. So we have to wait for it to synchronize to the graph and to the chain. And you can look at the status of that using the get info command. And you can see here it's telling you that it's running on Bitcoin network testnet. So we have the get info command. We have the get network. Is it get network info? Yeah, so it's get network info. So you can look at it still struggling with that. We'll give it time for it to synchronize fully, and we'll come back to that when everything is done.